What's up everybody, Damon here, and in today's gaming news, a new patch is starting to turn Crimson Desert sentiment around, and Yoshi-P thinks he knows why younger gamers aren't connecting with Final Fantasy. This is your Daily Fix. Crimson Desert Steam reviews are improving, moving up from mixed to mostly positive on Valve's platform as developer Pearl Abyss releases game-changing updates. As IGN has reported, Crimson Desert launched big on Steam with nearly 250,000 concurrent players, but was met with a mixed user review rating. Much of the early criticism from players revolved around the controls, which some had called clunky and unnecessarily complicated. There were some performance complaints too. Meanwhile, Pearl Abyss saw its stock price plunge nearly 30% in what was seen as a reaction to review scores from critics. A day after launch, the company's stock fell a further 10% despite the announcement of 2 million sales. According to Korean business press, Pearl Abyss reportedly spent 7 years making Crimson Desert, with development costs coming in at 200 billion won, approximately $133 million. Today's patch addresses keyboard and mouse control complaints and improves control responsiveness, with the promise of more to come. But it also made a long list of quality of life improvements, including the addition of actual storage box, nerfs to a lot of the difficulty in the game, and more fast travel points. And there are some key fixes as well. This update, which arrives just a few days after Crimson Desert arrived, really does change the experience in quality of life terms and should make the game more easygoing overall. Now, Crimson Desert Steam reviews are mostly positive. At the time of this taping, 70% of the 37,660 Steam user reviews were positive. That percentage jumps to 77% for English language reviews. Pearl Abyss said, "We are currently reviewing various gameplay elements based on your feedback and will roll out further improvements and fixes in subsequent updates. We remain committed to improving Crimson Desert and your experience in Pywell. Thank you once again for your continued support." Speaking of Crimson Desert, Pearl Abyss has launched a comprehensive audit of all in-game assets after admitting the use of AI-generated images in the final release should have been disclosed. After the hotly anticipated open-world action game launched last week, players were quick to spot signs and paintings that looked very much like they were generated by AI. IGN's Brendan Graeber found further examples of in-game images with the telltale signs of AI. Crimson Desert's use of generative AI art put Pearl Abyss in violation of Steam's AI content policy, which requires generative AI use to be disclosed on the game's store page. There was no disclaimer on Crimson Desert's Steam store page as of yesterday, but today one is included that reads, "Generative AI technology is used in a supplementary capacity during the creation of some 2D prop assets. Any such assets are replaced through our production pipeline by our art and development teams, ensuring they meet our quality standards and creative directions." Except they weren't. In a statement, Pearl Abyss said the AI-generated assets were unintentionally included in the final release, and it admitted it should have disclosed the use of AI to players. Now, it's scrubbing through the entire game, looking for all AI-generated assets, and will replace them via patches, because they got caught. And finally today, Final Fantasy XIV director Naoki Yoshida, known to fans as Yoshi-P, has admitted that long development cycles across the Final Fantasy series make it harder for new players or younger generations to engage with the franchise. Reflecting on the issue in a video interview promoting spin-off Dissidia Duel in Final Fantasy, Yoshida discussed how young people might have struggled to connect with the Final Fantasy franchise simply because it takes so long to release mainline entries. Yoshi-P said, "I'm 53 now and I've been playing since Final Fantasy I in real time, but for younger generations, people who grew up naturally accustomed to action-based combat and online competitive play, the recent entries in the series may have been harder to engage with. Part of that is simply because, I'm sorry to say, the release intervals for new titles have gotten longer, so some players haven't really had the chance to connect with the series the way older fans did." He's not wrong. Taking Final Fantasy VII Remake as an example, what was once one game has now been chopped up into 3 different installments, with one released in 2020, the second part in 2024, and, well, there's no release date for Part 3. That means there'll be at least 6 years between the release of Part 1 and Part 3, which is a period of time in which many player tastes, incomes, and available free time can change drastically. Similarly, Final Fantasy XV was released in 2016, Final Fantasy XVI came out in 2023, and there's no word on a potential Final Fantasy XVII. In 2024, Yoshi-P, who produced Final Fantasy XVI, said it might be time for a younger generation to lead the franchise and helm Final Fantasy XVII, but we haven't heard anything about a new entry as Square Enix focuses on getting Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 out the door. And that is your Daily Fix for Monday, March 23rd. Now it's time for a brand new month of gaming. Jump into the Humble March Choice Bundle and score an amazing lineup of titles. Right now you can grab Tempest Rising, Chants of Sinar, Sworn, Etrian Odyssey 3 HD, Bread and Fred, 0 Hour, Small Land, Survive the Wild, and Hard West 2. This all supports the Malala Fund, an organization working for a world where every girl can learn and lead by breaking down the barriers that hold back the more than 130 million girls out of school today. Head to humblebundle.com through April 7th to start playing now. I'm Damon Hatfield, and for all your video game news, stay tuned to IGN.